So moving on, moving on to the next prediction. A new world for employee engagement. We've talked a little bit about work from home, but this isn't just about work from home. It's really about understanding that as companies move toward moving beyond that sort of initial tactical goal of supporting workers wherever they are and figuring out how they can engage and empower and simply keep track of employees when they're remote, we're going to see a backlash against productivity monitoring tools, more investments in diversity, equity, inclusion, virtual volunteering, and other ways for employers to show employees that they're aligning corporate goals and employee purpose. And certainly a move away from surveys is an acceptable way to gauge how employees are doing and feeling. In a survey we did this summer, we found that employee engagement and morale was the #1 challenge for HR, and found that when we asked employees, only 60% of their employers got an A for supporting remote work. Those grades were even poorer when we looked at areas like diversity, equity, and inclusion, and supporting work-life balance. The new factors for employee experience are around, as I said, DEI, around morale, around philanthropy, around enabling employees, and really a new role for HR, which means new skills, new goals, new objectives for HR professionals who need to think about being not just work from home enablers, but data scientists, employee volunteer enablers, channels of access to information, enablers of automation for HR service delivery, a bunch of new things that are on HR's plate, as well as, of course, the task that HR has today now in not only managing a huge number of new employee events, but gathering all kinds of new data as we look at a safe workplace.
Yeah, so actually there's a question on the board here, what does work from home and employee engagement, how does that change what does that change mean to HR leaders? Mm-hmm. When I was getting ready for this and, juxtaposing CX with EX, it came to mind more and more HR is going to have to take advantage of what sales and marketing has taken advantage of in the digital marketplace, if you will. So looking at the employee journey, as compared to the customer journey. And, how does an employee who's remote and virtual get the information that they need? How do they get motivated? How do they get managed? The other thing that came to mind is in sales and marketing, we've been managing remote employee, bases for a long time. And that is a challenge, how to manage and motivate people without being a big brother. So using the electronic capabilities to monitor people, but not in such a way that it's overbearing. And that's a balancing act that I think generally across the companies with more, development and operations and even accounting, whatever, all of that being remote, the HR group is going to have to take a grasp of. So Intellective, by chance, is a virtual company and has been a virtual company for many years. Mm-hmm. So we do, just like you have voice of the customer surveys. I know you said we got to get away from surveys, but you have a voice of the customer type survey to understand the marketplace. We have the voice of the employee type surveys, and then we talk about them at town halls where we have everybody in. So we've been acting virtually for a long time, and I've noticed our HR group taking advantage of, our whole HR platform is cloud-based. You don't have to pick up the phone necessarily and get an HR representative on the phone to ask a question. Mm-hmm. It's all available to you. So I actually see kind of the merging of the technologies that people have been leveraging. So my prediction, the merging of the technologies used for customers are going to be leveraged internally for the employee.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
over
we're already
2020.
seeing that. We're already seeing that, Mike, if we think about the employee journey versus the customer journey, the idea of onboarding and training, all of those areas that were really disrupted by cloud in the customer relationship management space, we're now seeing be disrupted by cloud in the human capital management space. I think some huge areas for disruption, around areas like training, right? If I'm only providing training that employees are required to take, they've always just been ticking the checkbox anyway. When I really want to enable them, particularly in a time when they may need to think about internal advancement instead of changing jobs. Another area that we pointed out here, which I think is really interesting, when we did the work from home survey this fall, we found that 1 in 3 people have taken up a new volunteering or
Yeah.
philanthropy effort, since the summertime. So there's a real opportunity for HR to think about how we take those corporate social responsibility and HR goals that we have the job of supporting as a company and enable employees to really seek their own purpose while we do that. So there's some interesting stuff going on. There are a lot of challenges for HR, obviously, in terms of new data gathering requirements, different kinds of employee events to manage and all of that sort of thing. But there are also some very interesting opportunities for how they can be, more enablers and less big brother.
Yeah, we one last point on this. We actually had an issue that took some discussion was, what about employee, holiday gifts? Like how do we, in the end, we ended up giving it, gift cards or something like that, rather than, a customized gift or something like that, because of, the handling and the delivery and all that. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a broad spectrum of things that have to be considered by HR.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting area to watch. I think, 2021, we'll see more areas around virtual job marketplaces as well, both for filling internal positions and folks looking maybe to make a career move.